wait a little bit, let some more people hop on before we dive into all the details. But what we'll be going over is Turtle Man Classic 2, the second annual Turtle Man 2. You know, how that day's going to go, the rules, you know, what the charity's for. We're going to talk about the Dungeon Super Series, the first ever super matches in the Dungeon. We're going to go over the athletes. We're going to go over some new rules, some modified rules. Yeah, so we're going to talk about stuff like that. So if you guys got questions about anything like that or anything other related to arm wrestling or even powerlifting, let me know. If you guys didn't see the live yesterday, Tim Bresnan is back in Connecticut. We did some training yesterday at the Dungeon. It kind of felt like, it was like deja vu from like 3 or 4 years ago. Even Pete Milano was there, which I thought I saw a ghost when Pete was there. But it was a fun day. It was lots of fun. It was great training. Tim is feeling strong. He's feeling, his elbow flexion, his elbow lock is feeling really strong. His pronation's feeling good. He's got I forgot the guy's name, but he's got a match coming up with a guy from Florida who is in the top 20 in the supers. So if you haven't watched the other ones, I'm either going to do a live mostly before, but sometimes after training. We'll just talk about, stuff like Turtle Man, the Dungeon Supermatch Series, the athletes, rules, where to get tickets, stuff like that. Speaking on where to get tickets, Friday, the Dungeon Supermatch Series, it's got the rules are going to start, the rules meeting are going to start at 11:05. If you guys are planning to watch the event in person, I highly recommend that you guys show up around 11. It will be a lot smoother because once the event starts, we won't be able to help, direct parking and stuff like that. Because there'll be a lot going on with all the we're going to have 4 cameramen, stuff like that. So there's a lot of moving parts. But it's going to be fun. So the event starts at 12, but I definitely recommend that you guys show up at around 11. Earlier would probably even be better. Where to get tickets? You're going to have to, if you know where the Dungeon is, you're more than welcome just to show up the day of and pay cash. But right now, I am not sending the address out from the Dungeon. So if you do not know where the Dungeon is, you're going to have to shoot me a message on Facebook. It's Nicholas Stone, or Instagram. It's _Team Stone 777. If you guys don't have Facebook or Instagram, shoot me a message on the comments, and we'll figure out a way to, some type of private messenger, even like maybe like WhatsApp or something. I don't know if that would work. Well, thanks for watching, Rick. That's good information. I was curious how you start your mornings, and now I know. It's probably how most people start. But speaking of being an honest American, Rick, Are you going to be at Turtle Man 2, September 6th in Connecticut, charity event? Well, thanks for watching, Jonathan. Same question to you. You going to be at Turtle Man? Well, how come you got work or something? You can't make it because of work or something? Maybe you should just, maybe take a vacation day or something. It's going to be a fun day. It's going to be a fun day. Maybe you could do the old, the old grandma fell down the stairs trick. Just tell your work that grandma fell down the stairs again, and you have to help grandma. I'm sure most people will be able to go for something like that. But anyways, if you can't make it this year, maybe we'll see you next year. Every year I plan on it being bigger and bigger. Sorry about that, but maybe you can use that as an excuse to skip work. Speaking of that, let's talk about what this charity is for. So the Turtle Man, a lot of people have been asking me or calling me Turtle Man, which I am not Turtle Man. Turtle Man is Danny DeMichael, he was my friend, my teammate. Unfortunately, he passed away almost 2 years ago due to a drunk driver. So we got together as a team, and last year we put the first tournament together. We all got together as a team. It was a great event. I don't think there was any problems, anything, nothing big, just little stuff. But it was, I don't remember the exact number, but it was more than, we raised $6,500 for the charity. And now the charity is, we take the money, we give it to Danny's wife. Danny's wife, she takes the money and she puts into a college fund for Danny's daughter. So right now there's more than $6,500 in there. Our goal this year is to raise more than last year. It's going to be tough, but I think it's doable. Let me check some of these chats real quick. Oh, maybe next year, Jonathan, maybe we'll see you at the 3rd annual. If you're making the trip from Brazil, we'll give you the old the Brazil discount. You get a discount for making that giant trip, but we're going to need proof that you're from Brazil. passport check. Mike, yeah, man, I'll see you at the fair. I'm showing up to the fair to make sure that you don't compete, because it's amateurs only, and you're definitely way better than amateur. I would definitely say at least minimum semi, but I would say pro. You're definitely pro level. But I think you got another job, Mike. Don't you got to be the microphone man? You got the mic position, so you got your hands out full anyways. I don't know. It counts. It counts as something. I'd definitely prefer that. See you guys at the Turtle Man September 6th. But I'm sure that's a pretty good movie too. Thanks for watching, Noah. Appreciate it. Hopefully, I see you at the Connecticut tournament September 6th, and also the Dungeon Supermatch Series September 5th, the day before. If you guys have any questions for me about the events, any of the events, let me know. It's a tough job. It's a tough job on the microphone, Mike, lots of work. You got to stay mentally. You got to stay focused, Plus, you're experienced. You got some more experience. Well, let's see. Rick C says he saw a ghost. I wonder what the next comment from Rick C is going to be. Sounds like a setup. Sounds like he's setting me up for a joke or something. But let's see. So let's start with. Yep, I knew it was something. Well, if that happens, you probably won't. I don't know if you could feel Ghost, so he might already be doing what you fear. But good luck. Hopefully, whatever you do, wash your hands when you're done. Just wash your hands. So let's start about time. So how the Friday and Saturday time frame is going to go. Most of this is locked in, except for the early weigh-ins. That will be by appointment only. You must message me on Facebook, Nicholas Stone, or Instagram _TeamStone777. So Friday, athletes, I would like them to be there around 10. Definitely no later than 11. If they miss the rule meetings, I'm not going to hold up the tournament. I mean, the super matches, because we're starting at noon. Fans, I would definitely recommend getting there before 11. For parking, make sure you get a good parking. For the address, you're going to have to shoot me a message to get the address and also buy a ticket. If you already know where the dungeon is, you're more than welcome to show up and buy the ticket the day of. Well, I appreciate you watching. Good luck. Thanks for the good luck at the Turtle Man thing. It's going to be good. Turtle Man Classic 2, second annual charity tournament. So yeah, definitely fans, definitely recommend showing up before 11. We're gonna have the rules meeting around 11:05. We're gonna make sure everything's set up with the cameraman from 11:05 to noon. I want to start no later than noon, not 12:01. I want to start right at noon. Possibly we might start a few minutes early if we have everything set up, but I don't think so. The matches are going to go off. We got 9 matches. After every match is completed, after the crazy epic show of these 18 athletes, well, actually more than 18. Was it 20? I want to say 20 athletes maybe, because there's a 1 versus 3 match. After the matches are complete and everyone's mind is blown from the crazy battles, we are going to we're going to have a little dungeon tour. Chief, the High Chief himself, is going to do a tour of the dungeon. Oh, thanks for watching, Zach. You picked a good time. We're talking about the Turtle Man and the Dungeon Supermatch Series charity arm wrestling event. After the dungeon tour, Chief is going to do a dungeon tour. He's going to talk about all the, pretty much arm wrestling memorabilia from the 80s all the way up until the present. There's stuff from John Brezink, Crazy George, Travis Bagent, Devin Lorette. There's a whole bunch of stuff in there. Even over the top memorabilia. There's arm wrestling, video game arcade machines. After the tour, we're going to have the first after pool party. So if you want to pull with all these mega athletes, these high caliber athletes, your first opportunity will be after the super matches. Now you must, in order to do the after pull with the athletes and the dungeon tour, you must, it's part of the in-person tickets. So you must get a ticket. That will go on until about, it's not locked in, but eventually I'm going to have to leave to set up for the tournament that Friday night. So it's penciled in that it will probably finish up around 6:30, something around there. That's where we want it, no later than 6:30, something like that, maybe 7. So now once that's done, it's going to be early weigh-ins. The earliest, we're allowing 24-hour early weigh-ins max. So the tournament is at 12. The earliest someone can weigh in is at noon that Friday. But because we have the super matches, the earliest someone will be able to weigh in is if they get a ticket after the super matches. That's when they'll be able to weigh in. The next opportunity for early weigh-ins will be when I'm setting up for the tournament at Steel Beach Gym. Now, it's not locked in, but I'm probably gonna get there around 7:15 ish. If you are planning on doing the early weigh-in, that Friday night, it must be by appointment only. So make sure you shoot me a message on Facebook, Nicholas Stone, or Instagram _Team Stone 777. Well, thanks for watching, Zach. I missed some of your messages, but appreciate you watching. So early weigh-ins are by appointment only, so make sure you shoot me a message. This way, because I'll be running around all over the place. This way, I'll definitely make sure I am where I say I am, so I can weigh people in. Clothing allowance, I'm still working on, but one thing I know that's certain for the tournament is the pro class, there will not be a clothing allowance. There is no clothing allowance for the pro class. The reason for that is it's a pro class, but also there's a lot on the line, besides just a solid gold turtle. If you win the pro class, you get a solid gold turtle. Now this is just a demo. This is just a demo. But the real one's solid gold. You will be entered in the overall, left or right, depending on which one you win, possibly both, if you win both left and right pro in your division. Now, the winner of the overall, the last man standing in the overall, will get a spot on the next pay-per-view event. They will have a guaranteed match at the next pay-per-view event. So it should be interesting. Now, for all the other classes, it's not going to be big. It's not going to be a 3 pound, but it might be like maybe a 1 pound, something like that. But for pros, there's no weight allowance. Now, after everything's set up, early weigh-ins are over. It will be Saturday morning. Sign-ups and weigh-ins will be from 8 a.m. to 11. So make sure if you want to compete in the tournament, you need to get there before 11, because by the time, after 11, the bracket master, Bill, he will be setting up the bracket. Once it's in the computer, it's locked in. So I would definitely say do not show up late. Also, 11:05, we will be doing the rules for the tournaments. Oh, thanks for watching, Big R. We'll be doing the rules for the tournaments, as well as the safety rules for the novice and the amateur class. So if you have any questions, that would be the time to ask. Also, too, if there's, the novice, it's the first time, or even amateurs, if you are concerned on, if there's a lot going on, so say you forget the safer positions, feel free to ask the referee. They will give you a little rundown on what's safer, what's riskier. If there are any break arm positions or straight arm where the bicep is exposed to ripping, Those matches will be stopped in the novice and amateur, possibly even semi. That's to be determined. Still debating. But definitely novice and amateur. One thing we're going to be very strict on is the novice class is a true novice class. So what I mean by that is first timers, first time seeing an arm wrestling table, first time ever putting their elbow down, stuff like that. So if you've been practicing for 2 months, even though you didn't do a tournament, you are experienced, and for this tournament, you'll have to go into the amateur class. The reason why we are being so strict with the novice class is it's a safety thing. So what I mean by that is novice, if I gotta check, I haven't read the dictionary in a while, but I think the definition of novice is no experience. So no experience. If I'm not mistaken, someone's going to have to fact check me. If anyone's got their handy dictionary on them. But we'll be in the gym. So the potential of there being strong, very strong newbies, first timers, is very high. And as you guys know, the highest risk to injury is someone who is new and very strong. So that's why we're being super strict with the novice. I'm going to try to be strict with the amateur and the semi. That gets a lot more tricky. But definitely, if I think anyone is pro level, there definitely won't be allowed an amateur. Depending on the level, they might be allowed to do semi, but it depends on the level. We are going to allow people to pull up in a division, but not down. So what I mean by that is if a first timer, they can do any class they want, even though it's not the safest thing. It's their choice. They can go up in a division of difficulty. So a novice, if they choose, they can go amateur. They can even choose semi, and if they choose, they can go pro. But on the other hand, you cannot go down. So what I mean by that is if someone is a professional, they cannot pull semi. I think, if someone is too good in that class, the risk of injury goes up for the athlete who is actually that skill level, if that makes sense. It's going to be tricky, but we're going to try to, I feel like I know everybody, well, not everybody, the good amount of people. But yeah, keep that in mind. You can always go up, but you can't go down if you pass that level. Same thing with weight. If you are 154 pounds, you can pull any class that's heavier. You can pull, 220, you can pull 242, you can pull supers. That would be your choice. But on the other hand, if you are a super heavyweight, you cannot go down because you are more than the weight, so you can pull just supers, left, right. If you're 242, you can pull 242 and supers. Just for some examples. Oh, thanks for watching, Jamie. I appreciate it. Jamie, you gonna make it to the second annual Turtle Man Classic, September 6th in Connecticut? And don't forget, the day before is the first ever Dungeon Supermatch Series. We got 9 great matches. It's going to be a great show. And all this is all the money we raise, except for the part that YouTube takes from the pay-per-view, will be given to the charity. Also, too, I'm going to break up some of the pay-per-view and give it to the athletes and the referees. Because I'm very appreciative to these guys, everyone coming together to help out. All these athletes on the card they're taking their own time. They're coming here on their own dime to for this great event. So I appreciate it. Everyone helping out. Because it's a charity event, our budget was zero. So I think from pretty much from a budget of zero, I think this event is going to be absolutely epic. Um, we're about 13 or 14 days away or something like that, and it's growing fast. You know, people are buying tickets. We're selling tickets for the pay-per-view. People are. We got pre-orders for the Turtle Man T-shirts, the second edition Turtle Man T-shirts. So let's see. See that green shirt behind my shoulder? That's from last year. It's a nice shirt. The shirts go for $30. The money is given to the charity. There's pre-order available. If you want to pre-order, I have Zeal, Cash App, and there's also we've been using one of our teammates' PayPal. So if you have, it's not my PayPal, but it's one of my teammates. We can take the pre-orders for the T-shirts through there. But if not, you could take your chances, buy them the day of. But they're going quick. Yesterday, I want to say there's a good amount. Yesterday, 3 or 4 went just yesterday alone. Some sizes are a little low. Some sizes are still a lot, which is surprising. Last year, it's the opposite of last year. Last year, the middle sizes went fast. Now the outside sizes. So last year, the large and extra large went real fast. Right now, or at least at this point, the 3Xs and the smalls are going fast. So it's interesting, very interesting. So if you guys want to pre-order the T-shirts, shoot me a message. There's also, speaking of T-shirts, we have Team Stone T-shirts. This is I want to say the third or fourth generation. The newer shirts, the shirts that we're selling right now are the material is definitely better. I would say it's a little thicker, it's a little better. Those shirts are also going for $30. We got some Team Stone straps. So these are some nice straps. Team Stone straps. It's got a nice buckle. These are going for $20. The day of the tournament, we're going to have a strap sale. Buy one, get one half off. So you can either get one for $20 or two for $30. Also, too, if you guys sign up for the pay-per-view on this channel, Stone TV on YouTube, you will get a discount. So it's $9.99, but you'll be able to see the matches whenever you want, play them as many times as you want. You will also get member exclusive videos, and last but not least, you will get a discount on all Team Stone TV merchandise. So that's T-shirts, that's straps, even coaching services. But yeah, keep that in mind. And you can, as long as you're a member, as long as that membership is, it's a recurring payment, $9.99 a month. You can cancel anytime, but as long as you're a member, that you can use that discount anytime, unlimited. So yeah, like I said before, YouTube is going to take I'm not sure, but I think it's like 30%. They take a chunk of, It might even be more. I gotta double check. They take a chunk of the paid membership. Whatever's left, I'm going to give to. I'm going to split it 3 ways. I'm going to give it to the athletes. I'm going to give it to the referees, and then give it to the charity. So it's going to be good. All right. Let's talk about some matches. In no particular order, I'm just going to name them off how they come in my head. Let's start with the ladies. This is the only ladies match on the card. It's going to be a right arm match. The first athlete is Kyla Ward. She's very strong, very strong. She's got lots of power. She's newer. She's newer into the sport. She's about 3 years, but she's been causing some havoc up here in this area. Her opponent, Candy Passmore. Candy Passmore is definitely more of a veteran. She's been around a little longer in the sport. She's had many, many more super matches. But this match should be interesting. They're meeting at 140 pounds. Kyla is dropping weight. Candy is going up. Candy I think she might have a height advantage. If I remember correctly, she might be like possibly 3 or 4 inches taller. That might be a factor. But this is going to be interesting. You know, this is the battle of power versus experience. So it should be very, very interesting. Next match that comes to mind, these athletes will be pulling left and right arm. Both athletes are pulling each other left and right arm. Ron, the High Chief Columba versus Black Ice. Hey, what's up, Mike? Thanks for watching. It came to a perfect time. We're just talking about the High Chiefs match with Black Ice. How do you think? How do you see that match going, Mike? Black Ice versus Chief. But I know these guys have pulled many times in the past. Yep, that's what I thought you were going to say. You know, I got to be neutral out of respect to both athletes. But it's tricky. It is tough. It is tough. Maybe after the event, I mean, it's not going to really matter, but maybe after the event, I'll give my predictions on who I thought would have won. But maybe not. So these Ron and and Ice have pulled many times in the past. Ron has actually coached Ice when he first started about 15, 20 years ago. I know Black Ice actually has one of Ron's tables, one of Chief's tables that he built years ago. He trains on one of Chief's tables. This is going to be a battle of now. Black Ice, he's not slow, but Chief is crazy fast. You know, so this is going to be the battle of speed versus endurance. Black Ice does not get tired. He has no, you know, lactic acid is not even a thing for him. He will not pump up. So he'll pull for 24 hours straight and he'll be fine. You know, the power will still be the same. Coach versus student. Yep. So what is that? So you talk me and you, Mike? Is that you're saying, or am I reading that wrong? 15 years. If that's what I'm reading, you have 15 years to make it to the super heavyweight category because I'm not pulling anybody lighter than the super heavyweight anymore. You know, you get too much. What's it called? People call you a bully. Yep. All right, Mike. 15 years from today, we will pull, but you have to at least make it to 300 pounds. That's the rule. That's the one. What's that called? It's the one thing that has to happen. Nope. Nope. I am not dropping weight. You have to go super heavyweight. You have to go to a weight class where there's no numbers. It's just letters. That's the rule. You can wear a backpack, but I get to pick what the backpack looks like. That's the rule. That's the second rule. There's 2 rules so far. It'll be a good backpack. It'll be a really good backpack. You could trust me. Yeah, but maybe we'll do a reverse clothing allowance. So we'll add 3 pounds. So you have to be 297 pounds, and then we'll give you 3 pounds. Reverse clothing allowance. It could be fun. Could be fun. You know what we got to do, Mike? I don't know if you can see it. You can see that board over there? That's the team rankings with just there's no names up there. We gotta put some rankings up there. Get a little team ranking going. Black Ice Enduro versus High Chief Speed. I couldn't have said it better myself. That's it. That's it. We don't need to talk any more about it. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be a crazy, crazy battle. I'm excited. I'm very excited. I pulled quite a bit with both those athletes, and they're feeling very strong. Tuesday. Yeah, we could do a Tuesday. The rankings, since pretty much all the hard training is done for, at least for me. I don't know about everyone else, but I'm going to do some light arm wrestling, maybe 1 or 2 don't move goes. But yeah, we'll be able to do it Tuesday. You missed. I don't know if you saw it before, Mike. You missed Tim Bresnan and Pete Milano. They were at the dungeon yesterday. It was like old times. The old multi-spinner. That's good stuff. Maybe I'll do some multi-spinner today on the recovery. I'm gonna do a recovery lift. Yeah, it was a good day. But it was like I kept on feeling like deja vu from 3 years ago when the old crew was all together. The only one missing was Corey Breslin, but he's driving up from Tennessee. They're doing the oh, Mike, I don't know if you're working today, but the Brooklyn Fair. We're all going to the Brooklyn Fair to hang out. Tim is doing the fair again, so Corey will be there. He should be there, I think. Everyone will be there. Pete will be there. Chief will be there. I know Mike will be there on the microphone. Tatro. I'm sure a whole bunch of people. That's the PG version. Left arm is for holding the peg. That's the PG version that Pete says. I'll let people guess what the R-rated version is of Pete Milano's version of left arm. No, you could definitely. If you get out at noon, I don't think the tournament starts till 3. I think. I'm not exactly sure, but I think it starts at 3. So you definitely got time to train. I'm gonna double check. I think there's a Facebook thing, but I think I don't know if you have Tim's number, but I'll message Tim. Because sometimes how the 60-year-old guys get with the technology. You know what happens. Yeah, I want to say 3 o'clock. I think that's when the fair starts. Bill's at the Terryville Fair. I mean, if he's already at, if he's already going to one fair, if Bill's already going to the Terryville Fair, he might as well go to the other fair. He doesn't want to. He can't play favorites. That'd be rude. That's a little rude. So maybe put a little pressure on Bill. Tell him it's rude. Double fares for him. Maybe they'll give him a discount. Maybe it's a buy one get one half off entry fee. So we talked about Chief and Black Ice. Now, the next match that comes to mind, let's talk about another Ron. Ron, the Assassin Armini, will be pulling Bill Sinks. Now, Bill Sinks is definitely, he's been around pretty much everywhere his whole entire career. Now, I've been hearing a lot, not a lot, but quite frequently, that a lot of people think this match may be a mismatch. I could see, in terms of, just people may not know Assassin as well as they do Bill. But personally, I think this may be one of the most entertaining matches on the card, personally. I see it going 3-2 all the way to the end. It's a right arm match. These guys have similar styles, similar builds. They both have giant hands for the class. So it should be interesting. Most people that know Ron, they only know the happy-go-lucky version of Ron. I've only seen the true Assassin one time. That was in 2020 at the IFA Worlds in Florida. And he ended up going undefeated, both arms in his class. Got 2 golds. And I think he's going to show up again even better. My first team I ever practiced with was Ron's team, the Connecticut Armbenders. I spent like my first year with them, maybe more. And I don't think I've ever seen, maybe I'm mistaken, but I don't think I've ever seen with my own eyes, at least what I've been in the sport, I haven't seen Ron train this hard in a long time. So I think both these guys, Ron and Bill, are going to show up in great shape. I think they're going to put on a good show, and I think it's going to be great. Next match that comes to mind will be Sam Mitchell versus Brian Malek. It's a right arm match, best of 5. They are meeting at 165 pounds. These guys have pulled before, if I'm not mistaken, but not in a while. Sam is looking good. Brian, I want to say I've reached out to him about 4 months ago, maybe more, for this match. So he's got lots of time to get into great shape again. They have different styles. One's more of a high hooker, top roller. One's more of a supinated shoulder, deep hooker. So it should be interesting. That should be very, very interesting. Next match on the card. Now, this athlete is pulling left and right, but 2 separate athletes. Let's start with the left arm. So Paul Passmore will be pulling Justin Bear lefty. These athletes, I don't think they've ever pulled before. Maybe some after pulling, but I don't think so. I do know they have wanted to pull each other for quite a while. Paul has been going on a tear recently. He's got some great wins on some great pullers. Justin has been spending some time in boxing. He's been doing some boxing. But he's back. He's back in the arm wrestling world. He's training. He's getting ready. He wants to pull Paul. Both these guys are making the trip north. I know Justin's coming from Pennsylvania, and Paul is coming from Georgia. I want to say Paul has the furthest trip of any athlete on the card. I think it's I'm not sure how long of a flight it is, but I know if you drove, it's like 20 hours or something. Maybe less, maybe more, but I think it's 18, 19, 20. So they're pulling left. I think that's going to be a great match. Now, the right arm, Paul will be pulling James Clark. If you don't know who James Clark is, he's been going on a tear up here in my area, the Connecticut, New York area. He's from Long Island. He might be he's definitely the best left arm in Long Island, I would say. I don't think anyone up there will beat him left arm. His right is no joke either. He had an injury a little while ago, but recently he's feeling healthy. He recently pulled Jerry Caderet and he held his own right arm very well. So he's looking healthy. I think he also won Mass State's right arm in the supers. So he's looking real strong. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's in the top 15 in his weight class. If not, he is right on that. He's right on the edge of being in the top 15. Different styles. One's a top roller. One is a deep hooker. Should be very interesting. I'm personally excited for this match. I'm excited. I feel lucky that I will have, I'll be able to watch all these matches in person. So if you guys want to, be as lucky as me and watch these matches in person, first thing you're going to have to do is you don't know where the dungeon is. You're going to have to message me. You're going to have to buy a ticket. Tickets go for $30. Facebook, Nicholas Stone, Instagram, _TeamStone777. If you do know where the dungeon's located, you are welcome to show up the day of and buy your tickets there. But like I said in this earlier video, it starts at 12, but definitely show up. I would definitely recommend showing up before 11. This way you get the parking set and everything like that. But yeah, definitely message me if you don't know where the dungeon is. But you have to, before I send the address, you're going to have to buy the tickets. Because I don't really, we can't give the dungeon is kind of a secret location. We can't really give the dungeon location out to everybody. It's more of an invite only kind of thing, if that makes sense. So keep that in mind. Now, before, I don't think I forgot any more matches. Usually, I've been getting a lot better, but usually there's always one match I forget. I don't think I forgot any matches, except for the last one, which is going to be me versus the team of three, Damian, John, and Andrew. So this is going to be a 1 versus 3 match. It's not going to be at the same time, but I will be pulling all the athletes in one match. So what I mean by that is round 1, I'll pull athlete A after round 1, athlete B after round 2, and once we go into round 3, athlete C, and repeat. Now the team of 3, they have full range if they want to change the order. If they want to go, for example, A, B, C, B, C, they could do that. If they want to go, A, B, A, C, they could do whatever they want. They have full freedom to change the order. In case they have a strategy or something like that. So how do you win? I have to get 6 pins on them, and they have to get 3 pins on me. That's how you win. So it should be very interesting. Damian and John are from the state of Massachusetts. Damian is number 2. He's only number 2 in the state behind Jerry Caderet. John is, I would say, if he's not third, he's tied for third with Chris Burns. If you don't know who Chris Burns is, I did ask him if he wanted to be part of the event, but unfortunately he's a teacher, so he has school. You can't ditch the kids behind, you know. But maybe next year. But now, because Chris wasn't go, I was able to ask the gentleman from Pennsylvania, Andrew Macho Man. And the reason why I call him Macho Man is when you watch the pay-per-view, you will know why we call him Macho Man. I'm not as familiar with Pennsylvania as I am more northern area arm wrestling, but I would definitely say he is in the top 10 super heavyweights in that state. Definitely top 10, maybe top 5, but definitely top 10. He's making the trip up from Pennsylvania. If you guys see a camper, that's him. So if you want to say hi to Macho, maybe don't knock on the door, you know what I mean, because he'll have his family with him. But if he's out walking around, you could talk to Macho, you know, it'll be nice. But maybe don't knock on the window. He might, you know, send the dogs on you or something. But that being said, I'm very excited for this match. This is actually not my first time in a handicap match. When I first started, I did a handicap match. The only difference is these athletes I'm pulling now, average body weight is probably about 80 pounds heavier than the last handicap match. There's more people on the other one, but these guys are much, much bigger. I want to say between the three, it's like, I want to say it's like 780 pounds, maybe more. You know, if I did my quick math right. Yeah, something like that. So it's a good amount of weight. You know, it's a good amount of weight. Each guy, I picked them for a reason. I wanted a really tough challenge. And I pulled with these guys in practice before. They have, these guys are, they pinned me in practice. They're strong. Each guy has a slightly different style. They have different strengths. I feel like it's going to be a great challenge. That's what I wanted. I want a really tough challenge. I'm going to need to be super powerful, but also my technique's going to have to be good. My endurance is going to have to be good. Should be interesting. Should be very interesting. I'm excited. I appreciate these guys taking the time. They're taking days off of work. They're traveling on their own dime to help out because they want to arm wrestle. They also want to help out with this charity event, make sure it's as big and profitable for the charity as possible. So like I said before, there was a budget of $0. So every athlete pretty much is coming on their own dime. And I definitely appreciate that. If I do feel like a lot of the athletes on the card at the level that they're at, they do deserve, at minimum, travel and hotel, especially at the level that these athletes are at. But soon we'll have once this grows, we'll have a budget to treat the athletes more respectable, but like I said before, I'm definitely appreciative that these guys and ladies are making the trips. So far, of all the matches I named, all 9 matches, what's your favorite match? What do you think is going to be the most exciting match? It should be very interesting. Should be very interesting. Any other questions? Let me know. I'm probably going to be on here for another 5 or 10 minutes. Something like that. I don't think I missed anything big. We talked about the trophies. This is the demo version, but they're going to be solid gold turtles. We also have silver turtles and bronze on the way for second and third. Remember, there's only one place on earth to get them, and that's September 6th, Steel Beach Gym, Oakville, Connecticut. It's going to be good. Let me check some of these chats, make sure I didn't miss anything. Let's see. Rules. Let's talk about some rules really quick. I think we talked about rules, but it's going to be running fouls. 0, there's no warnings. It's just fouls. You have 3 fouls. Some new things that are added is the first thing is once you guys have a grip or close to a grip, the referee will say to both athletes, are you good with this grip? Are you good with this grip? The referee needs a verbal yes or no, not a head shake. It needs to be a verbal yes or a verbal no. If both athletes say yes, the next command will be don't move, which will be followed by a go. So if both athletes say yes, I'm good, we're good with this grip, the next command will be don't move, go. So keep that in mind. This is new. This is a new rule we are implying. If one athlete says yes, if one athlete says no, then we go to get your grips. You have 15 seconds. The referee will make sure the shoulders are square. Another thing too is once the referee squares you, goes to adjust the hands. If your shoulder is carved in like crazy, they have to go back to adjust your shoulder. That will be a foul. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. So you have 15 seconds to get your grip. If for some reason the athletes can't get their grip in 15 seconds, it will go to a referee set grip. It will go to a referee set grip. So that will be, you start with your hands open. The referee will say, close your thumbs, close your fingers, and go. Oop, don't move, go. If for some reason they cannot get a grip in the referee's set grip in another 15 seconds, it will be a traditional traditional referee's grip. The referee has full control. They close both athletes' hands, and it will be don't move, go. All slips go to strap, except for unsportsman or professional fouls, which will be, if this is the elbow pad, say for example, if you pop up and then follow through with a hit to try to get a stop or something like that, it might definitely be a stop, but instead of just being one foul, there will be 2 fouls. Now these have to be obvious, where all 3 referees know right away, like there's no question about it. It will, but if there's any kind of questions, if it's close, it won't be unsportsman, but it has to be obvious from all 3 referees. There's running fouls. Yeah, that's a good one. Coach versus student, chief versus ice. That's a good one. Now, when you say blonde on blonde violence, who are you talking about? Are you talking about the ladies' match, or are you talking about? I don't really remember everyone's hair color. But who are you talking about? What's the blonde on blonde violence? Or are you calling or they're two people that you think are dumb or something. What's up, Sergio? Thanks for watching. Yeah, it should be interesting, Ladies match, I think, on the pay-per-view they're going to open up. They're going to be the second match in the live in-person tickets. I think the ladies are definitely going to it can be lots of fireworks. I think there's going to be lots of energy. Yeah, it should be very, very interesting. I don't know if there's any. All slips go to strap. Athletes, once the strap is on, they cannot touch the strap anytime with their offhand. So, like, even for example, some people like to hold the, like, say when they're applying the strap, they like to hold it like that. You cannot do that. That will be a foul. So definitely keep that in mind. If you touch the buckle, if you touch anything like that, if you tighten it, it's going to be a foul. So keep that in mind. What you can do is, you need the strap adjusted or anything like that, you can talk to the referee. Tightness will be determined for the person that has the buckle. It will be up to them. Now it's not going to be able to be super loose. It's going to have to be, relatively snug to prevent any kind of, strap malfunction or anything like that. But the person with the buckle will get the choice if it's, cranked super tight or just snug. I don't think I'm missing any other rules that are different. Yeah, I don't think I'm missing any other rules. If you guys have any questions for me, let me know. I'm going to stay on for another couple minutes. Should be good. Should be a great weekend. It's going to be a great weekend of arm wrestling. Now remember, September 5th is the Dungeon Supermatch Series. To watch it live in person, you must buy tickets. Shoot me a message to buy tickets. Yep. Yeah. Personally, I like to do that too, but I want to, I figured it has to be, if you're going to not allow anybody to touch the strap. I wanted to make that rule to, trying to prevent people from, pulling on the strap to tighten it themselves. Stuff like that. But the only way to do that is, in my opinion, is to make it, you cannot touch the strap at all. So it should be good. I don't think that will be allowed, Mike. Unfortunately, only competitors will be allowed on stage. So we won't be able to allow any friends on stage. But that's, use smart thinking. Trying to learn the rules, play the rule book to your advantage. Smart thinking. So, actually, that brings up another thing. I think we're gonna do like the 2-finger rule with the strap. So say, this is your wrist joint. It's going to be 2 fingers. The referee's 2 fingers below the wrist joint. So what that would look like is, for me, my wrist joint is right here. So right here, this is where the strap will be applied. That's the lowest an athlete can get it, is 2 fingers below the wrist joint. It's going to be the referee's fingers, not the athlete's. The referee's finger. So keep that in mind, Mike. I don't want to see any straps down here. The old anchor point. But yeah, we're gonna do the 2-finger. You can if you want, you can put it up as high as you want, but 2 fingers will be the lowest. Any other questions you got for me? Let's see. Unfortunately, I think all the refs are equally as skinny. We don't have any fat referees. I did try to get some fat referees, but they're hard to come by. They're very expensive, and we don't have the budget for fat referees. But maybe next year we'll have a bigger budget. I'll be able to afford a couple fatties, and we'll get them over. But even though the referees they're not as fat as you like, they are all certified. They're all certified referees. They are very good. So it should be good. But I'm gonna do another 20, 30 seconds. If you got any more questions, this would be the last opportunity to ask today. But all right, I think that's it, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you